Hey, Chris Liepe here. You want to do terrifying screams and create blood-curdling moments live and in your recordings? You need to lean into the truth. You need to lean into the whole story. Here's the whole story. It's not enough just to know how to scream safely or how to sing aggressive safely. Those things are important. It's not enough to simply want to be like your heroes and imitate them and go after some of the emotion that you feel like that they have and to put that into your own voice. That's important. It works. These things are important. You need the pain. You need a reason to make the noise. You need the fear. You need the glass in your foot or the thing that you can't solve, the problem that you can't solve in your life. And you need to lean into that. And when you've leaned into that and you've combined it with some of the things that we've worked on this channel, you will get, by accident, the results that you want to get. No rule following, no practicing, no exercising. None of that is going to get you what you want to get out of your screams, out of your vocal intensity, out of your emotional connectedness, unless you learn how to channel the things that you are frustrated and fearful and anxious and sick about, unless you learn how to channel that into what you're doing. And you might be saying, well, you're just stating the obvious. Yeah, throw more emotion into what you're doing and let that take over. That's not really all of what I'm saying. You have to break. You have to get to the point to where the only thing that you can do to medicate yourself or to express is in that scream, is in what your voice is doing. That energy, there's a big difference because you're almost reaching out for a lifeline as you're abandoning into your voice. This is what it takes. And if you do any reading or scouring about the stories of Aaron Lewis or Corey Taylor, you know that some of their best work came out of, and this is really true for a lot of artists, but came out of times when they were genuinely suffering. There's an aura about those recordings that is so raw and real and unintentionally scary. And we go into stuff, in our songs and our singing so much of like, yeah, things are pretty much okay, but I'm gonna sound angry. Like that just doesn't. It's just not the whole picture, and it's not going to come out in a way that's going to be completely relatable. It's not completely genuine. Be honest with where you're at. Be honest with how you feel. Let that honesty come out in your recordings, in your voice, and how you speak. If you want help with your technique, aggressive singing, screaming, and you'd like to learn how to lean in to these emotions safely without messing up your voice, I can help you with that. I've left a couple links below in the video description that you can go further with. But for the rest of this video, I want to take you through what I experienced and what I recorded during this segment of this Stained song. Show you the imperfections. Show you that the abandonment and the feeling, the emotion that was captured was unrepeatable. In all honesty, these were first takes of me coming down here today, extremely frustrated and needing something to take my frustration out on. This is what you hear, and I want to walk you through it, not because it's my best work or not because it's as good as what Aaron Lewis did or anything like that. But I want you to hear raw desperation, anger, fear, and anxiety combined with what I've trained my voice to be able to do, and that is lean into sensations safely. You have to be able to do both. We start here. I blame you. I blame you. This particular area, yeah, I'm using compression. I'm lifting something heavy. I'm bringing things into my upper vocal tract. But I'm blaming other people at the moment. And there's this looseness about not listening to the other recording. You know, I laying this one down first and then doubling it without that one in there, and you can hear that at the end here. They don't follow. They follow somewhat the same thing, but there's that theme throughout this whole passage that I recorded. I'm not listening to myself. I'm just going at it, and some of the things that are happening end up being happy accidents. These screams here. John Bright! Shut up! Shut up! I don't like. And you can see that the timing is off. These are decently synced, but right here, you know, I cut off early. Again, I wasn't privy to the previous take. I just laid down this take and then this take, and this take and this take are the same, and this take and this take are the same. So I just put them on different tracks to mix them in a little bit better. But if you listen to this is the first time I opened up on the mic were those screams, and John Bright! Shut up! Shut up! I mean, listen to this. Listen to what happened here. This sigh into my normal voice, right? Shut up! I'm just so done, right? I mean, that's not an intentional thing. Yes, I'm leaning into muscle memory, and I can do that stuff because I've trained. But the expression comes out of being so done. And if you listen, if I remove the distortion and some of the other things going on here, listen to the raw track. It's not consistent. It's not, you know, the best technique scream, but that almost makes it better. I mean, when you get it in the mix and you hear it, there's a vulnerability to it. And then the quality of this doubled scream, the two layered together create this just blood-curdling nonsense. John Bright! If they were both perfect, they would be one-dimensional, and you wouldn't get that out of it. Shut up! Shut up! You know this little crack that I just left in? I mean, I always talk about the yodeling. I mean, that's it. And then here, listening to what Aaron Lewis did on the original, I wasn't even going to go for doing what he did, but just, I hear him sort of screaming in the background as he's going through this ending. I'm just gonna do 2 passes that I'm not even really caring, and see what happens.
I don't like to take it all away, just like what you say. I don't want you, kinda like the way everything is great, just like what you say. I don't need you, I don't look like you, do the things.
And what I find interesting upon listening back to this is I'm doing my normal thing where I pick a pitch. We've got the normal pitch of the root of the song is hey, hey. So I'm singing on the 9th, and that was something that I did in my head. I want a dissonant note to go into this with. It doesn't matter that that's not what he did. You can't hear that 9th in the original Aaron Lewis recording, but that helped me get to a point to where I could abandon into that scream. I could abandon that note, and here you hear it. Yeah, you hear it there, and you hear it here. But I'm holding my mouth a little differently. Again, I was just different. You could see on the video, I'm just different levels of frustrated, and the things that I've talked about and the things that I've practiced are coming in and being like, okay, we got you. You need help at the moment. We got you. These things that I've practiced. It's not like I'm sitting here or standing or whatever going, especially in this case. There are some recordings where I've done this. But okay, now I'm going to intentionally hold my mouth differently. That came out because I'm experiencing different levels of intensity, and the muscle memory kicked in. I did not think about it. This is the way a lot of people get great recordings. They end at different times. There's squeaks. There's all sorts of things. Leave them in. And then on a production standpoint, I brought him back to the center for the end.
You. I don't look like you, do the things you do, but I'm fucked up too. I don't need you.
There is something magical about holding a mic and leaning into it, and you can't do that with these. And I think with screaming, it's best, even if the sound quality isn't as good, to go grab your beater mic with a dent on the top and add some damage to it. That's going to be the best way to, all of these things combined. You want to deliver blood-curdling, authentic, painful sounding screams. You have to complete the picture. Again, if you want more of my help, I'll help you. Click those links below. We'll see you for more.